All right, so what's going on, Dakota Digital's RTX gauges? This is basically how I hook mine up. Quick rundown. Turn signals, if you want these two, that one, left and right. If you want those two to work, then you gotta run these wires here. Left turn, right turn. One goes to the ground. One wire goes back up here and turns into your left and right. These come from your plug on your original gauges. The left is the blue, light blue with the black stripe. The right is the dark blue. You'll tie them together and you'll plug them in there. That'll make both of your blinkers work down here, there, and there, right there. Right now these don't work because I don't have them plugged into the back of the gauge because the gauge is sitting in the floorboard. Your dimmer is your gray wire. Your brake is your tan with white stripe. Your high beam is your light green. That runs back to your plug. And then I have the 4x4, which is the black, dark green with the black stripe. Also your switch inputs plugged in here. Your display's here. Your display goes to the back of your Dakota Digitals, right in there. Plugs into the back side. If you have a clock, I don't have a clock, your BIM module. So if you have a BIM, it just plugs in there and then there, and that little cable runs over and you can get all your engine stuff from the engine side of everything. This is basically from the original stuff on the truck with the original plug. Now, moving on to the ignition. This is a 12 volt switch ignition right here with a 3 amp inline mini fuse. This is just to protect your gauges. If you put a 3 amp or a 5 amp, Dakota Digital says 5 to 20. I put a 3. That starts lower. That's just to protect your gauges from any possible surges or problems, and that way you don't have any damage to your gauges. So that is a pink with a black stripe. That is your ignition power. Ignition, switch key ignition is pink with black. And then I moved over here. This is just a generic orange wire, 16 gauge or 18 gauge. Dakota Digital specs 18 gauge at minimum. That wire is my 12 volt constant. It runs back in here, right in there, and that is plugged into the battery. Also on it, I have a 3 amp inline fuse as well, and that's to protect the gauges again as well. Now, so from there, of course you have your ground, your black ground. It's just gonna come in right there, and you're gonna plug it in right there. These are ferrules I put on the end. You can get them off Amazon. I got the hexagonal ones, hexagon. That way, it goes in here. It kind of makes them round, if you will. The smaller stuff, the bigger lugs, it will put a hexagon on them, but the smaller lug, it kind of puts them as a round ferrule. They fit nicely in there. They tighten up nice. The wires tighten up nice too. If you just strip the wires and stick them in there, they tighten up nice as well. But anyway, I just thought this was a better, cleaner look. Now this one here, let's go to these four over here. I have a Gen 3, so I have to have a standalone basically switch or sensor for my oil pressure. This is where that comes in. It runs out to my sensor on the engine. This one is my fuel level signal. It's tan with a black stripe, and you'll have several of these in the plug. Several of those, they're just looped back around. I learned that on this little gig. They're just looped back around into the plug. As you'll see, there's like 2 right there, there's 1 there, and then there's like 2 more here. All those are just loops, and like I say, there's the extra little loops from some of the stuff right there, the pink, and there's some tan, and then there's just loops around. So when you cut your stuff, you trim your wires back. When you trim your tape back, you'll be able to see, okay, well, that's my main wire coming. So that's my main feed, that's my main fuel level, that's my main ground. That's the ones you want to run to your box. Everything now is working just like it should. Dimmer works, high beams work. Everything is plugged in and working, all besides the engine side stuff. I'll work on that next, and I'll tidy this up here, make this look nice and clean with zip ties and everything. And that looks like a mess right now, but trust me, that will be nice and clean when I'm done with it. If anybody's following this build or following these posts, I appreciate y'all watching. If you got any questions, hit me up. I didn't learn this stuff overnight, and definitely am not a wiring guru, but I appreciate everybody who's helped me along the way and got me this far with it. And shout out to y'all. Y'all take care.